Right, I'm here tonight with Chris, catching up with him after his first 12 weeks on the Shear Performance Next Level program. Thanks, Chris, for taking some time out, mate. Appreciate that.
Yep. No, thanks, mate.
Sweet. So, should we get started with just maybe a little bit of an intro on kind of why you personally wanted to take part in the program and what it was that kind of drew you to it?
Yeah, well, obviously with a few of the younger guys that have been going for records over in here, I'd heard your name pop up around the scene, doing a fair bit, and I was sort of interested in what you had to offer, and then I saw you advertising this 12-week training course on Facebook, and I know it was last minute there. I happened to be able to slip in, and I seen Matt Smith was involved with it, and I knew Matt, so I give him a message and sort of had a bit of a talk with him, and it sounded sort of like something I'd like to do, and the rest, it's history.
Yeah, good. So what in particular, Chris? What was it you kind of wanted from the program? Like any sort of ideas about how you wanted to feel, what you wanted to sort of get from it?
Yeah, well, like I was shorn for a long time, and I've done bits and pieces of training in that, and over the last sort of 5 to 7 years, where I've pulled back on my shearing a bit, and me and my wife are concentrating more on the farming. I'm still shearing a lot of sheep. I've been getting more and more niggles, and coming back shearing, like getting back into it after a 3-week break or something. I'm just finding it harder and harder, and I couldn't get to the level that I was at when I was shearing more full time, and that annoyed me a little bit, because I knew I could, I knew I had a lot more to give. Yeah. So I thought, well, I've got to try something a little bit different here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, try something a bit different. I think I like that. Cool. So in terms of the program and sort of obviously its delivery and the way it was delivered, obviously you know that really well now, but anything that you particularly liked about it or found really useful, interesting?
Of the delivery?
Well, just anything to do with it. Yeah, anything you sort of within the program that you thought, yeah, that I wasn't maybe expecting to learn that, or I was expecting to learn that, and I really enjoyed it, or yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot, mate. Just the whole layout of it, how you start your training off, and built up through it. Sort of nothing like what I've done in the past. Pretty much, when I've done training before, I've gone in sort of balls and all, and I don't know if that's the right way or not, but I just found it came on really nice. Your body could adapt to it it was actually over a quick time, but it seemed a long time, how it all evolved. And then all of a sudden you just feel like you're getting results, and you don't really know what actual aspect of the training where it's come from. It just seems to happen. And I noticed when I went back recently shearing after, from end of main shear through to the sort of some tutors, which would be a sort of 2-month break, the transition was a lot easier. Just found a lot more mobility was a lot better, and I could go right through the whole 4 runs, and I was feeling okay at the end of the day.
Decent. That's nice.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think like what you've just alluded to there, in the sort of like, well, all of a sudden I'm feeling quite good, is because we've kind of covered most of the main kind of components of fitness that are relevant to shearing, and in a subtle way you're doing some of those exercises without really realizing it, and in a way that perhaps allows you to recover one day after the next, and then move on and progress. So what you've just described is something that conversation we do have. Like, it's kind of like I'll just like, you've seen some of the comments from the other guys in the group that have getting back into their shearing seasons in the UK here, and found similar sort of like benefits. So that's good. In terms, obviously, you're a very experienced shearer in terms of the amount of sheep you've shorn. What obviously having Matt's input in terms of giving you some feedback, did you find that useful? The video.
Oh yeah, most definitely. there isn't much Matt hasn't done in the sharing circles, and any information, I was taking on board. And obviously we've all got our own ideas, we get into our own routine and that, but just listening to what he had to say was, there's a lot of information there that I took out of that. And, I can pass that on to other fellas too, and it's just all general sharing information, which is, he just outlined it basically, but it was clear, it made sense.
Yeah, and that's what a good teacher does, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, actually, like you say, like someone who knows what they're doing, they can make something that's quite complex quite simple. Which I think he's done very, very well. So, cool. Is there anything like about the program, Chris, that you learned that you weren't necessarily expecting to learn about, or anything about the program that you thought, oh, that was really good, but I wasn't expecting for that to be a thing?
You nailed it with my diet. Cutting back on food, portion size and that, and sort of spreading my food more through the day. That's been a big help. I found like I like my food, and I eat good food, but probably my portions are too much, and I struggle with that in the shed sometimes, because that first hour after sharing, I've got too mumuch of a load on. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, you're just understanding you only really need enough to get you through that 2 hours. So that was good.
So nutrition,
getting that fiber, protein's not much of a problem in my diet. That sort of looks after itself, really.
Yeah.
But, and I think most of us who have worked in the industry, we've got a good base strength.
Yep.
And good base strength. But I just found tweaking little things, just those little muscles that I knew did exist, but I didn't actually know how to target them. Nailing those little things, just those little wee muscles that help fire those big muscles up, I think.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you like you say, there's the subtle tweaks, I suppose, on some of the more some of the basic exercises which work well. So cool. So probably last thing, Chris, if you don't mind, is like, if anybody out there, perhaps someone like yourself, who's sharing, or maybe not even like yourself, but what sort of things would you say to them about, if they're watching this video and listening to us having this conversation, thinking like, oh, I could do with a bit of help with, my shearing as a whole, not just the fitness side of it, not just the nutrition, but like the shearing and like the work on the combs and everything else as well that that we did. What would you sort of say to those people?
Yeah, I definitely consider it. I think you never stop learning, and it doesn't take a lot of time out of your day to set aside something like this to do that extra little bit of training. Half an hour to an hour, and the results you get back from it, it's immense. So that's it, really. I'd like anyone looking at doing a little bit of training. When you get a bit older, you do start feeling it, and it doesn't take a lot to keep your body maintenance in line. You don't have to go overboard with it, but like what I've done in the 12 weeks would benefit most people, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's certainly people sharing. I think it's like you say, it's your body is your greatest tool, isn't it? So, yeah.
I think, the other thing too, like having there's a big distance obviously between us, and we're doing a lot of work. All our work's via the internet, and for a start, it seems like how we got, how can I keep on track with it? You sort of to and fro and back between videos and that. But once you put a bit of planning in place, it's actually quite easy, and that's a big thing. Just set aside that time at night or in the morning. You work out your downtime, and a lot of people spend a lot of time on their phones during the day. Hours. And there you go straight away. There's 40 minutes here where you can get in a training session. You've just got to look at the whole picture, and it's our bodies obviously are the most important thing we have, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, exactly. That's great. Awesome, Chris. Well, I just want to say thank you for your time, and I really appreciate and also your efforts on the program as well, because I did really enjoy like those Q&As we did and the questions and answers and stuff, which
Yeah.
you were a major part of. So thank you for that.